All right, so these are your notes. It looks like this. I just slid it up so you could see this part. We're good. Are we recording? Yes. Okay. So like I said, we're going to work on just the graphing part. So the first thing that you're going to do, and I'm going to have highlighters. So if you need some, you can get those. You don't necessarily need them. I just like them for the visual. So the first thing that you're going to do is just like last week, you're going to look at where your domain is restricted. So this one only has one line. Okay. So we're going to put it just like we were before at -2. So that did not change. Now, what does change is what we're graphing. So if we look at this right here, what did that tell us last week? Two things.
It was less than
So
-2.
But what's that mean?
A graph to the left of it.
Graph to the left. What else did that tell us?
If it's open or closed circle.
Oh, this one is?
Open.
Why is this one open?
Because it don't have the equals to.
All right, so that's what we're going to do today. So this one is going to be on the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and put my function up here. That just helps me remember, okay? And then the other one, we already put the -2. This tells us because it's greater than, it's going to be on the right side of -2. And since it's equal, it's going to be a closed point on the boundary. And I just write it up there to remind me. All right, because I'm a little bit lazy and you can be too, remember just that first section is what we really needed to graph by hand. You can put this into your calculator. So I'm going to start with this x plus 5. Just like I did last week, and I'm going to get the points. But I want the points that are less than -2. So I'm going to start at -2, and it's going to be an open circle. So what's my coordinate with -2?
-2, 3.
-2, 3. I'm going to graph that. Here's -2, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to exaggerate it open. And that's just for my grading purposes and for you to be able to see it, okay? So completely open. Do not graph on the right side. So we got to go less than -2. So my next coordinate less than -2, if you look at my calculator, I got it at the bottom of the screen, is -3, +2. -3, +2. The next one is -4, +1. What do you see? What do you notice about this graph?
It's linear.
Yeah, so it's going to keep going down the same way. So we can just put the dots and we don't have to keep looking at our graph or our chart. Okay. Is everybody good so far? All right, how do I graph -4? If you forget, put it in your calculator. So I'm going to graph -4. Look at it. It's a horizontal line, right? Is everybody good? What's going to happen on the boundary, though? Somebody else other than Evan.
Closed point.
Closed point on the boundary line. And then look at the graph on your calculator. How do we graph it? It's a horizontal line. Make sure you only do it on the right side. That is a piecewise function. So what we're doing today compared to last week is that we're going to graph on one side one function and on the other side a second function. So the second function is what we're doing different than Friday or Thursday, whenever we did it. Okay, we're going to do a lot of these. Don't freak out. All right, we're going to do a lot. So knowing what you just saw, how do I start this one? What did I do first?
You're going to highlight the 1.
Mm-hmm. Yes, your boundary is at 1. So I'm going to highlight 1. Then you're going to talk about where each function goes and what does it look like. So we're going to start with this one. What does less than mean? Two things.
Left.
And
It's opened.
open. Somebody else. On the second one, what does it mean? Come on, guys.
Right closed.
Right and closed. Great job. All right, so we're going to start with 2x plus 1 on the left and negative 2x plus 3 on the right. Sorry, that's a crazy 3. Again, I'm going to be lazy and use my calculator, and that is fine. On your final exam that you guys take, you use a calculator all the time. It's not like Math 1 where there's a part you can't. You can use it all the time. So I'm going to start on my left side, 2x plus 1, and I'm going to look at my table. What happens on the boundary? What does it say?
1.
Open.
And where was that boundary at?
1.
Go to the
1.
left.
1, and then we're going to graph to the left. So our coordinate is 1, 3, and you said it was open. So 1, 3, and you said it was open. And again, that's just coming from my calculator. My calculator says 1, 3. What's the next coordinate to the left?
0, 1.
Perfect. What's your next coordinate to the left?
-1, -1.
You see a pattern? Everybody see the pattern? You can keep
Down to the
graphing.
left.
Yeah, down to left one. You can keep graphing from your calculator, or you can just find that pattern. I do want it to go all the way across, and if it doesn't end, I want you to start putting those arrows. Some of you are not putting the arrows on the end. It is mathematically important to have them. So there's the left side. Everybody okay? I'm not going too fast. Tell me if I am. We'll go to the right, and it is negative 2x plus 3. This glare. Negative 2x plus 3. I'm going to graph it. I'm going to put it in the table. Where's our boundary point at?
1.
1 what?
1, 1.
1, 1. Open or closed?
Closed.
Yeah, you guys said it was closed. So 1, 1 is closed. And then I only want things on the right side. So what comes to the right side of 1?
2, -1.
2, -1. 2, -1. We keep going down. 3, -3. You see the pattern? Down 2 over 1. And then connect those dots. Connect those dots. Some of you are not connecting dots. And put arrows. That's all, guys. That's a piecewise function. Okay. Does it get harder than this? Of course, because we're not going to just straight do linears. And then we're also going to have 3 functions at some point. But it's not bad. It's the same thing. All right. Everybody got these first 2? We're okay? All right. Look at number 3. Where's my boundary?
2.
Somebody that hasn't answered. What's this less than or equal to tell us?
To the left and closed.
Perfect. Left and closed. Somebody else that hasn't answered. What's this one tell us? Just greater than.
Right and open.
Right and open. And then we graph on our calculator. These are also linear, so there's nothing crazy on them. Negative 2x minus 4 is the first one, and you said it was on the left. So first, look for your boundary point. So our boundary point was at 2. Our coordinate is 2, -8. So 2, -8. How should I make it? We're looking at that first function, closed. And we're going to the left. So we need to go less than 1, -6, 0, -4. I'm seeing a pattern of up 2 over 1. So I'm going to keep doing that all the way across my paper. Connect those dots, make that arrow. Connect those dots, make that arrow. Once you finish that one, we're going to change our function and we're going to graph on the right. So check out your table. We go back to our boundary point, back to your boundary point. What happens at 2, -1?
Open.
Open circle.
Okay, so I'm going to exaggerate it. That one kind of looks closed because the 2's in there. I'll make it a little bit different. There, you can tell. Okay, open, and then we're going to go to the right. So we need values bigger than that. So 3, 3. And then we have 4, 7. And that's all we're going to get on this graph. Connect your dots, make your arrow. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, let's look. I'm going to switch to number 5. I'll come back to this 3 one right under here. If you've printed off your notes, I'm coming back to that one. But I'm going to go to this one because it's still dealing with just 2 functions. Okay, we'll get to 3 in just a minute. All right, tell me what we should do.
Make our line at -1.
Line at -1. What's the first thing? Tell us.
Go left and it's closed.
Less than means left. Equal to means closed. So if you're kind of confused why it's open or closed, if it has an equal to, it's closed. This one is greater than. Sorry, greater than means graph to the right.
Right.
Very good. And then no equal mark means that it's going to be open. Again, we just put them in our calculator. I always start with the top one. It says go left. So we have x as our function. We look at our table. On the boundary line, we have the point -1, -1. And you said it was closed. Make sure you go to the left. Again, we're only doing this function right here. So go to the left. So that means we're going to go to -2. So -2, -2. -3, -3. And hopefully by now you're seeing that pattern. Over 1, down 1. Or down 1, over 1. Connect. Draw your arrow. All right, and then we'll move to the right side. Put in your function, -x plus 4. Check out your table. The one that's important is the -1. My coordinate for that is -1, 5, and you said we're going to graph on the right, and the point should be open. -1, 5. Again, I'm going to over-exaggerate it. But we're going to graph to the right. So we're going to go actually down in our chart, bigger values. 0, 4. 1, 3. And you guys are hopefully seeing a pattern by now. Down 1, over 1. You don't have to go all the way. Give me a few points and then we're good to go. Okay, don't kill yourself trying to make 50,000 points. All right. Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ooh. If you don't have your video on, you should probably turn it on. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go back to the one I skipped. And we're going to talk about what happens when we have 3 functions. What happens when we have 3? So if you guys look, it just gives you 2 boundaries this time. Just like we did before, we have -2 and a +4. That means there's just going to be 2 boundaries. That's it. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. So my 2 boundaries are at -2 and +4. And I'm going to keep them the same colors. And graph. All right, so the first one and the bottom one are the normal ones. It's the one in the middle that's different. What did we say last week when the X was in the middle?
It's in between the 2 boundaries.
So this one says less than or equal to. What does this less than or equal to mean? We just did it. Nothing new.
Graph it to the left of the boundary.
And what else does it tell us? Closed. So this one is going to go over here to the left side, and we're going to make sure we close it up. We're going to look at the bottom one real fast. What does that tell us?
Right, and it's open.
Okay, let's practice these 2 really fast, and then we'll go back and I'll show you how to do the middle one. It's just like last week. It's nothing crazy. All right, the hardest thing is what's open and what's closed on the boundary. All right, so we're going to start with this one, this very first one. X minus 1. Go to your table. We're looking for -2 because that's our pink boundary, okay? So we're looking at our pink boundary because that's what it said up here. And my coordinate is -2, 3. What kind of point should it be? Sorry, -3.
Closed.
Closed because that's what you told me. So I'm going to close it up. Give me a point to the left.
-3.
-3, -4. Your next coordinate to the left is -4, -5. Hopefully you're seeing that pattern. You don't have to keep doing it. Connect them, draw the arrow. Okay, so we finished that one. I'm gonna move to the bottom function. You said it graphs to the right of the green line. So that's this spot. Can you guys see that? Or is my stuff covering it up? You're good? All right. So I'm gonna put it in the calculator, -3x plus 8. I'm looking for the green line boundary and it should be open. So the green line was at +4. My coordinate is 4, -4, and it should be open. 4, -4, and it should be open. I'm graphing it to the right side of that green line. So if you guys look, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I want. So 5, -7. And 6, -10. That's all we can get on there. So that's exactly what we just did a second ago. The difference in the middle one is that it touches both the pink and the green. Okay, so we got to see, is the pink open or closed and is the green open or closed? So when we look at this function, this 2x minus 1 that we're going to graph in the middle, what are we doing on the pink boundary? See how it's next to the pink? What does less than mean? I'm sorry, it's going to be greater than. Remember, it's in the middle. All you need to care about on this one is open or closed. What's the less than tell you? Open or closed?
Open.
Open.
So on the pink line, it'll be open. What about the green line? Closed. Internet's starting to get scared. Just FYI, guys, if I turn slow, I'm going to record this. If something happens, we'll figure it out. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that function in. 2x minus 1. And I'm going to look at my table. I need the boundaries of -2 and 4. So I'm going to start at -2. And remember the pink boundary said it was open. So -2, -5, I'm going to open it up. We want to find all the points in between -2 and that green line 4. So -1, -3, 0, -1. You guys can see the pattern. But what happens when I get to the green line? Is it open or closed? What did you tell me?
It's closed.
Closed. So I'm just going to put my point there. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Hold on. I do that every time I do these notes. And close it up. So that's it. So you have one to the right, you have one to the left, but then you also have one in the middle. So it's the exact same thing we've been doing. You're just putting 3 graphs on one. That's why it's called piecewise. A piece of this graph, a piece of this graph, and a piece of that graph. Okay. Is everybody okay so far? One more graph, and that's where we're going to stop, okay? One more graph, and that's where we're going to stop. All right, so this crazy one. All linear, all have been linear. Now what's going to happen on your homework that you're doing today, you're not going to have all linear, but we're going to go over a little bit of those tomorrow. So when you're doing them and you have questions, just hold those questions. If you have to turn in stuff late, it's okay. Especially if I'm going over it again tomorrow, that's fine. But when you get to that practice and you have a question, when we get on our Zoom tomorrow, be like, hey, Ms. Jones, can you do number blah, 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 because I wasn't sure about it. Okay, and that's fine, and I can do those for you. All right, so if you look at this one, what are our 2 boundaries?
-2 and 6.
-2, and I'm going to go ahead and graph that while I got my pink highlighter out. And +6. What's this less than tell you?
It's open and to the left.
So left and open. So on the left, we're going to graph 5. What's the bottom one tell you?
Right and open.
Open.
Right and open. So we're doing this one on the right. And then we're doing the 1/2 x minus 6 in the middle. What are both of those points going to be?
Closed.
Closed. So it makes it a little bit easier because they're both closed. All right. We're going to start on the left. That's just, you can start anywhere. I just always start on the left. So this one. We want the boundary line. You said on the boundary line it would be what? What kind of point?
Open.
So our boundary is at -2. So the coordinate is -2, 5. And it's open. We need to go less than that. So we're going to go -3, 5, -4, 5. What kind of line is this?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. And then we're just going to graph it. Make sure you have arrows. We can go in the middle next. That's fine. Again, that's just how I do it. Be careful how you put this in. You can do, if you listen carefully right here, this alpha y equals, and you hit enter, it'll give you a fraction. Alpha y equals enter will give you a fraction. If you don't have that, just put the 1/2 inside of parentheses. So you can either do it this way, or I'll show you on here. Or like this, just make sure that x is outside of that parenthesis, okay? So 1/2 x minus 6. We're going to look at our table. Our boundary point is -2. So what do you have graphed at -2?
-7.
And we said that both of those were closed. You can get your coordinates. I would skip over any fractions at this point. Like I'm not putting that in my calculator. Even though I know it's 6.5, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do the whole numbers. 0, -6. 2, -5. You guys see the pattern now. Up 1 over 2. I'm going to do that. And it's closed on the green line. Closed on the green line. Put in my other function or my last function. Look at my table. I want to start it at 6. That's my boundary line. What kind of point is at 6, -2? We wrote it down up here.
Open.
Open. So 6, -2, open it up. And then our next coordinate is 7, -4. And then 8, -6. And you can see we're going down to and over 1. In reality, these two do not touch, but I make my point so big, it kind of overlaps it, but it's not supposed to. But I wouldn't count off for something like that. And then make sure your arrow's on the end. Any questions right now? All right, I'm gonna stop my screen share. I'm gonna end the recording.